I have had a long experience working as a consultant for the government. I trained in London, England, at the University of London, and then taught in Vancouver, British Columbia, and then worked for the government. So, and I've had a lot of experience in different places. I lived in India for 4 years and have traveled to a lot of parts of the world. So it's been very interesting for me. I also, as well as being a dietitian and being very interested in nutrition, became vegetarian in the late 1970s and then vegan about 15 years ago. I also, specifically in relation to this talk, have had food allergies, and so have personal experience with this. And myself and the 3 authors of this book, is this focused properly? Is it good enough? No? Anybody knows how to turn that a little bit? Anyway, maybe it's good enough. So this book is authored by 2 dietitians and 1 person who's a wonderful chef, and all of the people who are vegan. But one of them, she and I both have had allergies, and Dina is a young mother and her child has allergies. So we were all very interested in this topic from both the personal level and also on a professional level, and also to help people. And so we have a combination that is about nutrition. 2 of us are dietitians, and also about food, really good food. Just using a different mouse arrangement. I think I need a more rough surface. Oh, I should do it that way. Oh, it's best this. Okay. No. Thank you so much. Isn't he wonderful? Thank you. Okay. So, how many people here have experienced food allergies themselves? And how many have that in your family? Some people have that. Well, often, or some close person to you, some's that way their partner or something like this. This doctor is handing the patient a piece of paper, looks about the size of a postage stamp, and saying, here's a list of the foods you can eat. And you can imagine how she's feeling, just in despair, because all of her favorite foods, her best friend foods, whether she was a cheese lover or she liked good Schwarzbrot, something like this, if she loved, whatever she loved, it's been taken away. And it can be very upsetting, very traumatizing, really, because these foods felt like our friends. Whoops, I'm probably going to fall over this, but that'll be interesting. Okay, so we will look in this presentation how to put together a nutritionally adequate meal despite leaving out the top allergens. It's also, of course, quite helpful because some of those allergens are animal products, and so we're putting together vegan meals. Now, if we talk about allergy, there are several terms that we want to understand. First of all, food allergy is a reaction of the body's immune system, and it's to a specific food component, typically a protein, and it involves an IgE-mediated reaction. So that can be detected by a lab test. Then food intolerance is an adverse reaction, which often can look the same. If you get rash on your skin, if your breathing is difficult, if your digestion is upset, it can be a similar symptom to a real allergy, but it does not involve the immune system, and so it doesn't doesn't show up on the lab test. So if you go in for allergy testing, they'll say, no, you don't. But you know perfectly well that you do have some kind of reaction. And food sensitivity is an umbrella term for both words. So those are the words. Now, statistics, true allergy in infants occurs in about 6 to 8% of infants, usually diminishing by the age of 1 year. And with adults, there is a 1 to 2% incidence of true food allergy. With celiac disease, and how many people have some kind of sensitivity to wheat, gluten, celiac disease? So celiac disease is the most severe form, but this is becoming more and more widespread. And I don't know why this is happening. It's very interesting. So, Canada, where I come from, is a wheat growing area, as many areas around here seem to be. There's grains growing. And I think they're changing the type of crops that are grown. They're changing the seeds themselves that are used for crops. This may have some effect. Anyway, we're finding that the incidence of celiac disease, which when I went to university in 1965, was thought to be very rare. Now, it's 1% of the North American and European population. Well, it's 1 in 144 people. It's close to 1%. So that's a lot of people to have this severe form, celiac disease. People can also have less severe reactions to wheat, and there are many, many more people that have this. Then lactase insufficiency or lactose intolerance is common with about 70% of the world's population. Therefore, it is more common to be unable to tolerate milk well than it is to be able to tolerate cow's milk. We're talking cow's milk here. Well, goat's milk also has lactase. And human milk has some lactose in it, sugar. But the interesting thing is that by the time we're 4 years old, nature thought we should be weaned. And so for most adults, they don't have lactase, the enzyme that breaks down the sugar in cow's milk. They were not expecting to drink human milk. And so this is, in other words, a very normal condition for humans. It's more normal to not be able to drink cow's milk. Then suffering from food intolerances, so this is the type that's not immune system mediated, it's about 10% of the world's population. 1 in 4 families must adjust their menus for food sensitivities. Now, why are allergies so prevalent? Well, there is no clear understanding of why the increased prevalence. But there are theories. There's no scientifically solid explanation. One is the hygiene theory, that we raise our babies in such clean conditions. You know, the little baby wipes and the package all tightly done, the nursery that is so clean. This baby hardly ever has a chance to be fighting off bacteria. Well, they do some, but the theory is that the immune system has less chance than if they were crawling around in a less hygienic farm kitchen, something like this. And so their immune system turns to fighting off foods instead of fighting off bacteria from outside. It's an interesting theory, but it is a theory. Then in the opposite is that we are also, as well as being too clean, we're also too dirty. There's too much pollution. If people have exposure to smoke and dust, they develop more asthma. Then modern agriculture.